Leaders in Conversation with Nomazibulo Tshanga.
Hello, welcome back to the Leaders in Conversation with Nomazibulo Tshanga. Today on the leadership seat, we've got Kovini Moodley, who is the head of enterprise risk management and strategic audit transformation. But she's going to take us through exactly what that means and what her role entails. Before we get to the transformation and your role and all these nice things that you've achieved in your career, Kovini, tell me, let's take us through your career journey.
So I actually grew up in a little town called Shallcross, which is south of Durban. So very humble beginnings, very community-driven spirit. And you know, everyone contributes to helping a child to be successful.
Love that.
Yes, I grew up
Raised by a village.
Exactly, does take a village. So that was my upbringing, and you know, I always was a very solution-focused individual, even as a young child. So, you know, when it came time to choose a career path and what are you going to do after high school, becoming a chartered accountant was definitely the top of my list because I had cousins, I had aunts, I had uncles that were CAs, and I loved that they constantly told me about the type of work that they did and that it was very dynamic. And that's really what drove me into this path of becoming a chartered accountant. I completed my articles at Deloitte.
Lovely.
And then I moved on to Accenture, which is management consulting, redesigning processes and organizational design. And I currently hold the role of the head of risk and strategic audit transformation for one of the leading medical schemes in Sandton.
In Sandton. Lovely. So what are some of the challenges that you encountered as you were climbing the corporate ladder? I mean, as a woman, it must be difficult, right?
It was, and I think that's why I love this platform because it allows us to trace back our journey and share parts of our journey that could, you know, relate and inspire other young women.
Lovely.
So for me, it's, you know, it was challenging to walk into certain rooms and be the only person that looked like me, be the only person that, you know, came from humble beginnings and grew up in a small town, for example. I almost felt like I had to learn a whole new vocab when I came up to Johannesburg. But I think, you know, working through that and also having powerful, strong mentors around me to kind of shape me, it made my journey easier. I think sometimes I still do struggle with what they call the imposter syndrome. I think a lot of women struggle with it. A lot of women of color struggle with it. And I think for me, it's just been a journey, and I'm constantly growing and I'm constantly learning as well.
Love that. So how easy or difficult is it for women to climb the corporate ladder in South Africa?
You know, I think it depends on the woman as well. But I think it also depends on the environments that sometimes we find ourselves in. Male-dominated industries, male-dominated, you know, senior leadership. And I think it's also important for women, you know, when you say how easy is it to grow, I think it's important that when women are growing, that they're turning around and helping other women to also grow.
Yes, lift as you rise.
Exactly. I think that's a really important focus area that we need in South Africa, to be able to not just rise, but take, you know, young women along on a journey with you. And I just feel like together we can be so much more powerful together.
We can achieve more when we do things together.
Absolutely.
You speak so profoundly about mentorship and having women around you, support structures around you. How important is mentorship to you?
I think mentorship can literally be life-changing because I came up as a young 25-year-old to Johannesburg, and I was just really fortunate that at that time, you know, in the company, there were quite a few women that would come up to me and say, you know, let's have a coffee, let's have a chat, let's hear about your career goals. So I think that really shaped me in terms of the power that it takes when women uplift each other, when women inspire each other. I just feel like the world needs so much more of that.
Yeah, it does. Are you mentoring any young women currently?
I am.
Take us through that
I have 11 young chartered accountants that I'm currently mentoring.
11?
11.
Congratulations. That's
Thank
good.
you.
I mean, the thing is with mentorship, it's not about money. It's not about, but it's about giving of your time and giving of your resources, and also sharing your knowledge and your wisdom to the young professionals.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about, right? And I think people think it's, going to take up so much of your time, but it could just be a Zoom call. Sometimes we do a group Zoom call. Sometimes we do one-on-one sessions depending on what people know. And I think for me, mentorship and the need to help and grow others is also something that comes very naturally to me. So being able to leverage it is actually me, focusing and living my purpose as well.
Yeah. What's that purpose?
My purpose is to inspire. My purpose is to empower and to give back in a greater, more meaningful way. And I think that I'm sure about that, and the ways that I do that may change.
It manifests as you evolve as a person.
Correct.
Yes.
As I get older, as I mature, I may find different channels and different ways in which to leverage my purpose and give back.
And you've done that, right? But we're going to talk about it later. So stats tells us that there are 277 companies that are listed on the Johannesburg, South African companies, by the way, listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange that don't have women representation on their boards. I mean, imagine 277 companies listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange.
Wow.
What does this tell you? What's your view on this?
I think as South Africans, we have come a long way, but I think we still need to strive to do better. Like what you've just said now is actually quite sad. It's sad when we talk about women empowerment, women rising, females in power. It doesn't give a good impression of the fact that women are valued in the spaces that they find themselves in, and women are rising. So I think there's definitely attention that needs to be focused there. And attention needs to come from also the male counterparts who are there and seeing that there could be a need for someone, or someone who's valuable to add value to those conversations. I think it doesn't just happen.
And that must be intentional, right? From the men.
Absolutely. It's a collaboration and the need to recognize that and make it happen that is going to actually drive change.
But that then gets into what the conversation is about, leadership conversation.
Yes.
The type of leaders that we need. What does leadership mean to you? And what are the traits of a really good leader?
For me, I've been on a leadership journey, I want to say, for 13 years after qualifying, completing my articles. And I need to say that I've evolved through my journey, right? In the beginning, it was just about, following the books and following what people would tell you. But I think as you mature in the journey of leadership, for me, authenticity is a really big part of my life.
And it's been coming out so loud. I mean, everyone that I've sat with on this table, authenticity is like number one before anything else. I love that we all share the same sentiment.
I love that. I love that, because I think for the longest time, women have been told that you need to look a certain way, you need to speak a certain way, you need to do certain things to fit in. And I think just being an authentic leader is what is so powerful these days. Being an authentic leader that you can share when you're not feeling great, you can inspire others. Not everything is perfect. And I think through that vulnerability of sharing as a leader.
Vulnerability, like
absolutely, we just become, we give our best selves off, and people, who we're leading are also feeling that they can also feel safe to show parts of themselves that previously it was almost taboo. You have to hide. You've got to be a strong woman or a strong brown woman. You've got to put on this face despite how you're feeling. And I think that's a narrative that I'm really looking forward to change going forward.
Love that. And then what do women bring on the table?
Sure, what don't they bring?
Oh, love that. Got that. Yes.
I think it's just women are so nurturing. Our nature is to be feminine, is to nurture, is to sort of add that type of, energy to a conversation and to a space. So, for tables and for conversations that don't have that, I think you guys are really missing out.
And then what can men do to create conducive environments for women to thrive, whether it's in corporate, whether it's as entrepreneurs, in whatever spaces that women find themselves in, or it could be in social activities. So what can men do to create those conducive environments? What do you think needs to be in place?
I think everyone has the power to use their voice. And if you're fortunate enough to be sitting at a table and there's a woman that is not at the table for whatever reason, you have the power of your voice to change that. You have the power, and we're talking, your kind of senior leadership, you have the power to invite women to that conversation, hear their viewpoints. The power of the voice is really where it starts, because you've got to be brave enough to say, hey, I'd like this person's viewpoint. What do you think? What do you think? And it's about really listening to those conversations and not feeling threatened. Not feeling threatened that someone's going to come in and steal your light. Because I don't believe that that's possible. I believe that we all are such unique human beings, and the more viewpoints we have,
the more diverse, the more we all achieve.
Thank you, thank you. Having diverse viewpoints, without the fear of judgment, is really a powerful characteristic of leadership. And I think we need more of that.
What are other characteristics of leadership that that can drive this change of women empowerment forward?
Integrity. I think for me, the basis of everything we do as human beings, be it at work or outside of work, is based on integrity. And if you're someone who believes in truth, openness, and integrity, then wanting equality for women and wanting to invite them to those tables should be a very natural next step.
Love that. Equality and providing those platforms for women to come and have a voice at the seat at the table, or creating the seats for women so that we can be represented in those boards that they've just mentioned, where there's no women representation. As we are going to an ad break, we are speaking to Kovini Moodley, who is the head of enterprise risk management and strategic audit transformation in one of the biggest insurance companies in South Africa. We'll be back shortly.
If you're about to get married, then it's crucial that you hear what I'm about to say. Your wedding day shouldn't just be an event. It's the day when the story of your love journey is shared among family and friends. And trust me, you need this to be captured beautifully, because let's face it, your uncle's dance moves might not be as impressive the second time around. And to capture those precious moments, videography and photography are the most essential components of your wedding day. Now let me be honest with you. I know firsthand that videography and photography services can be often quite pricey. But fear not, because as the founder of Viligence, I am here to change that. I believe that capturing your love story should be affordable and accessible to everyone. That's why I personally offer wedding packages with flexible monthly payment plans, tailored to fit your budget without compromising on the quality you deserve. But what truly sets Viligence apart is our passion for storytelling. I don't just press the record button. I immerse myself in your love story, discovering the emotions, the connections, the love that makes your love story unique. Imagine reliving the tears of joy, the laughter, the heartfelt moments every time you watch your wedding video. That's the personal touch I bring to every project. So if you're ready to embark on this unforgettable journey and to create a love story that will be cherished for a lifetime, look no further. As the founder of Viligence, I am committed to making your wedding day an everlasting celebration of your unique love story. Let's connect on a personal level as I capture the essence of your love, the moments that truly matter. So together, let's make your wedding day an unforgettable experience. To get started, reach out to me directly. You can email me or send me a WhatsApp text. We at Viligence are looking forward to being part of your love story. Remember, at Viligence, your dream wedding is within reach.
Welcome back with myself and Kovini Moodley, who is the head of enterprise risk management and strategic audit transformation. We are having a leadership conversation, and we are continuing from a point of women empowerment. So Kovini, you are a woman empowerment advocate, I can already tell, with the other, passion projects that you're currently doing, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So you currently occupy the role of the head of enterprise risk management and strategic audit transformation. What does this role entail for the aspiring C-suite leaders?
Absolutely. So enterprise risk management is a really big focus area, right? We've got to look at the risks that impact a company. For example, load shedding is something that I think a lot of risk managers, or pretty much every single risk manager, would have on their books. And it is about, defining the risks for an organization, determining action plans to mitigate those risks, and constantly monitoring it to see if there are new risks or risks that need to fall out. There's various elements to the risk process, and the part that I love the most is that it's just such a dynamic environment for a CA to be in. No 2 days are the same, and the audit part of it allows me to use my consulting skills, whereby we redesign processes to make sure that audits flow smoothly and that we're able to leverage best practice in terms of people, process and technology for the organization.
Lovely. So tell me, did you always know that this is a space you wanted to operate in when you've studied or after you've graduated?
Yes, definitely. After I graduated, I knew that I was going to go into something that was very strategic in nature, that was out of the box thinking.
So you're a color out of the box woman.
I am, which is why I think a lot of my friends are, color in the box, and I'm not. So it's that yin and yang that kind of works really well in our relationships as well. I've always liked to come up with solutions. I'd love to brainstorm, think of things, think of doing things differently, and that gives me a huge amount of joy to see a process that isn't doing well and then see it transformed and see the way it's kind of leveraging the value that it now does. It's actually a very fulfilling type of role.
So what advice would you give to aspiring C-suite leaders to reach the level that we have reached?
For more from Leaders in Conversation with Nomazibulo Tshanga, you can continue listening to the rest of this episode on your audio streaming service app. Our podcast is available on various audio streaming platforms. Details in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.